Hello all, welcome to ASG Calcitech webinar series. Myself Fahid. Today we are starting a new session of IEC 61850 webinar series, and as for the first session we will be dealing with basics of IEC 61850. It is nothing but introduction to IEC 61850. In coming sessions, we will be dealing with other parts of 61850. Moving on to agenda items, this includes the basic substation communication requirements, its layers, process level, bay level, station level, communication between the levels of the substation. Why? What is the importance of 61850? Its aims and advantage, dealing with 61850 ideal network, different communication levels of 61850, data identification in 61850 in comparison with other protocol, reports, GOOS, sample values. Those are the bridges of 61850. Substation configuration language and its details, that is scope, file types, and interaction between different tools for exchanging different file types. Then moving on to traditional and 61850 communication networks. Moving on to substation and its communication requirement, there is a requirement of a unified standard for the substation, and substation can have different systems, different processing capabilities and requirements. Information at different levels are needed, and interoperability exchange between all systems of substation. So substation can be broadly classified as a process level, in which process equipment like transformers, breakers, everything are there in the process level. Then bay level can be data collection equipments, IEDs, and bay controller, etc. comes under the bay level, and station level comes HMIs, SCADA, and other things. So all these requirements on the substation are catered in 61850 standard. So moving on to different layers in detail. So HV all equipments, primary equipments constitute the process layer, which includes sensors, actuators, and other remote process interface. Bay level includes IEDs, relays, protection equipment, controllers, and other things. And station level include HMI, SCADA, and other functionality needed to be covered under the station level. So focusing on to the process level includes different current transformers, voltage transformers, electrical current and voltage measurement is primary aim, and also conducting equipment like circuit breakers and isolator closely connected to breaking the circuit or establishing the circuit back. Then moving on to bay level equipments, that is generally consist of intelligent electronic devices or intelligent relays to monitor get the data from the process level and process this data, and different algorithms can be performed onto that to determine different protection functionalities, measurement functionalities, and other things. So these equipments are generally relay, data concentrator, or protocol gateway comes under the bay level equipment. RTUs coming under the bay level equipment. Bay control units are also coming under bay level. Then station level consists of SCADA, which is supervisory control and data acquisition system, different operators and monitoring screen, manual control mechanism, external communication gateways from the substation to the station to the control centers, and other interstation communications are included in that. Then different sequence of events, alarms, everything constitute the station level. Moving on to the communication between different levels in the substation. So there need to be a communication between the bay level equipment and process level equipment. So bay level equipment need to collect the data, raw data from the process level, and need to issue the command for the trip level and monitor the status of circuit breaker and similar kind of equipment. So what we call it as this is process to bay communication. We call it as a process level communication, process to bay communication. Then second communication comes bay to the station level, in which the data from the bay level equipment need to be sent to the station. We call it as a station bus, and this include measurement, status, commands, everything need to be there. So that takes the data from the bay level equipment to the station level. Then third communication comes up as inter-bay communication, that is between different equipments of the bay, different bay level controllers, different IEDs, different equipments in the bay, so that the interlock can be maintained suitably. So whatever specific function one relay or IED does, that can exchange the data with another IED having another specific set of function, and intercommunication can take place, and then it can decide upon what to act, what to not, so that complete communication between the bay level equipments are equipped. So these three levels are mainly dealt in a substation environment, and this is the focus of 61850, that is process bus, station bus, and inter-bay communication are the basis of 61850. So moving on to why there is a requirement of a 61850 standard, key points on why we require 61850. So key aim of 61850 is there need to be an easy interoperability between the system, different vendors. For example, now with the different protocols available, different vendors have different mechanism to implement, and the data representation is not standardized. So everybody need to refer to this manual and do the configuration, and if one vendor configuration with one vendor is done, it is totally different from another vendor and need to completely re-engineer if you want to connect to other relays and other equipments into the system. So basic aim of this standard is to standardize as much as possible, including the data model, communication mechanism, everything, so that there need to be there is minimum requirement of data, minimum requirement of additional configuration when new systems are integrated to the system, new equipments are added to the system, or replacement of existing equipment with a different vendor. There is a very minimal changes required. Completely interoperability is one of the main aim of 61850 standard. Second, as I have mentioned earlier, second is detailed hierarchical classification of data as data model, completely object-oriented functionality of the data. So data is completely modeled in 61850 so that all the vendor, so it is again related to the interoperability, all the vendor need to expose this data based upon 61850 standard. So any system that connect with the IP address can get all the data from the device directly, and this is completely model. So current is represented in similar way in all the device. The breaker position is represented similar way in all the device. So this has been one of the key element in 61850, that is data modeling classification based on its functionality, and classified it as a logical node, nothing but functions. Then under that it will be having different data objects, and under that it will be having different data attributes. So again, this is aimed at minimal use of proprietary data, and as much as possible this standard want to standardize the data, so that from one device to another device it is completely same, that is data models are published, and anybody can use the data and minimize the proprietary use of the data in this standard. Moving on. Then another thing is, once you standardize, there is a mechanism to represent this data for 61850 based configuration. So this standard aims at representation of this data available on all the device, its communication methodologies, its how this data get mapped to other control block or exchange block like reports, GUIs, etc. So an XML based standard is used for configuration mechanism, and it is known as a substation configuration language, and all the device need to publish its own capability, and the system configuration tool need to take this published XML based configuration language in the XML and need to work out for a project specific file representing complete data under a substation. So this is completely standardized. This configuration mechanism is 100% standardized. Then auto configuration and discovery is another key mechanism, like just typing an IP address from a client tool. The client tool can gather whatever the data and models are available with having that IP, and it can exchange what are the data elements under my category, and I can the vendor device can publish all those data with just connection from the IP. With the IP address, the vendor device will be able to publish all the data available under the device, and this can include all its capabilities, its data elements, its control block, everything can be there. So this is one of the key advantage. Then generally the standard use TCP/IP or Ethernet, direct Ethernet based communication mechanism. So it is fast and reliable. TCP/IP is highly reliable, and if it uses direct Ethernet mechanism, its own reliability mechanisms are used to make the data reliable, deliver it fast, as well as make the data reliable. That is one of the key mechanisms. Then another very key point on this is why 61850 is future proof. Most of the protocol did not separate its payload and its data elements, data exchange elements. The protocol completely talks about putting this data directly onto the payload, so that if the underlying mechanism is getting exhausted or it is not in use, this protocol goes away. There is no future proof in those protocols. But 61850 mechanism is, it segregates out the functionality and its data elements from what is the payload that need to be, or underlying protocol that need to use for getting this functionality done. So this classified as 61850 clearly demarks abstract communication service interface and specific communication service mapping separately. So the functionality needed for the system or device with the data and its exchange mechanism are given in the ACSC, abstract communication service interface. So it is like normal API mechanism in which we define, that is, what is the read function, what are the write function, and what are the parameters that can be exchanged with the read function, write function, and what are the exception, what is the write response. Everything is defined under that. So this does not carry what is the protocol, whether it is MMS or any other web service or any other protocols. That is completely transparent from this. That is defined under specific communication service mapping, which takes care of mapping from this ACSI to the specific communication services. That is done separately. So for example, for the ACSI, if the relevant mechanism is MMS, this complete exchange of the data with the data elements and its exceptions is mapped to MMS for exchanging the data, bringing that data as actual protocol payloads is mapped separately. So future, if MMS goes out and for example web services comes out, this can have, ACSC can have a mapping to web services. And similarly, any future technologies comes up, it can define the mapping of ACSC to the technology, so that this is completely independent of the underlying payload. That makes 61850 a completely future-proof standard. So these are key highlights why we are going into 61850. There are hundreds of protocols, but what are the speciality of 61850 and why we are going to 61850? Moving on to ideal 61850 network. So if you take a general network, all the process bus data is hardwired in the 61850 network. All the process bus data is again connected to fast Ethernet mechanisms, and if fiber optic is available, this all the modem switchgear CT/VTs are connected to the fiber optic Ethernet interface, and that is connected to the bay level equipment. And from there you will be having direct connection to the station level. So complete it is managed in the Ethernet network. It does not depend upon direct wiring mechanism. So that is a complete ideal 61850 network, and any utility can adopt different methodology. For example, if they do not want a process bus, they can have hardwired and natively use the native breakers, CT/VTs, everything can be used, but this is the ideal network in principle. So communication levels, the different communication layers and methodologies are used for communication. MMS based mechanism is exchanged used for exchanging the data from the bay level equipment to station level, and MMS manufacturing message specification protocol, that is a specific communication service mapping onto MMS, is used for exchanging the data from bay level equipment to the station level equipment. It is completely one-on-one connection oriented, server client connection oriented, based on the TCP/IP network. And to exchange the data and interlock between the bay level devices, especially different IEDs, goose mechanism is used. It is nothing but generic object-oriented substation event mechanism used to exchange the data need to be exchanged between different bay level IEDs. So this exchange, like the bay to station, can take time, need to be highly reliable, but the exchange of data within the bay level elements need to be very fast. So we do not have flexibility of using TCP/IP, which is having different methodology to make that reliable. Retransmission, everything is there. So the payload is directly mapped onto the Ethernet using specific communication service mapping. So that is Goose is getting directly mapping these services directly onto the Ethernet, so that it does not need to have an IP or TCP payloads need not be handled in the mechanism. It can directly exchange the data over Ethernet. So it is fast, but less reliable when compared to station level methodology, exchanging the data with the station level methodologies. But it has its own mechanism to improve the reliability that we will be dealing in a different scenario. And to exchange the data within the process level to bay level equipment, that is completely sampled data that need to be gathered by the IEDs and processed to function different protection functionality measurement. This is known as a sampled value mechanism to get the data from process devices like CT, VTs and modem circuit breaker to the bay level. This is handled sample. This can be hardwired if you are using native breakers and native CTVTs, but for the modern one, this can be through the process bus. Now moving on to data identification in older protocol standard, as I have mentioned, in Modbus, DNP3 or 103, the data is modeled, so it is not modeled. So it is depending upon the user to define voltage, current, winding temperature, everything will be defined by the vendor itself, and you need to go through the detailed manual containing the IO list or the device detail list. You need to refer the manual to understand where the voltage, where the current, where the circuit breaker, where the measurement, everything you need to measure details, and it is not interexchangeable. The devices are not interexchangeable. It needs severe engineering stuff to obtain this data at different points. The voltage, current, everything differs from vendor to one. But how it handles in 61850 is data is completely modeled, and this tag is used to gather this data. So for example, a measurement, the voltage phase A instantaneous measurement is represented by this tag, and you can gather the data from any device using this tag. So similarly, for other breaker elements, everything, there is a tag, and using this tag, any device, just using this tag, any device can take the data from the equipment, and this is completely interexchangeable. One vendor device can be replaced with the other vendor device and get the data from there. So this is completely data modeled in the device, and any client system can acquire the data with the model. So user or configurator need not measure to any vendor specific IO list or anything. That is not needed. You can just gather the data from there. So this is the comparison between 61850 and other protocol. So earlier we have direct CT-PT wirings and other wirings needed for the circuit breaker connected to the bay level equipments, and other communication can be through separate protocol like 103, DNP3 and all other SPA, courier, vendor protocol can be used. But here you can see the CTVT's intelligent circuit breaker are connected to the merging unit, and this can exchange the data with different protection and control equipment in the bay level device using the station bus and between the bay level devices you can have a goose to exchange the data between the bay level equipment, exchange the data between the bay level equipment and bay level to the other monitoring stations, and other thing can be through the MMS mechanism for exchanging the data. Everything is connected to the Ethernet based communication mechanism, and all the data exchanges are possible. So hardwiring is made very minimal in this network architecture. Now moving on to use MMS, that is the station bus is what we call it as using MMS. It follows a client server architecture. So server opens a socket and any clients can connect to that, and multiple number of clients can connect to that and exchange the data, and each has got a separate pipe. So it is one-to-one communication mechanism, and support self description and discovery, because when you connect from a client using an IP address, the server will publish by itself what are the capabilities in the server, what are the data models supported, and everything will be published by the server, and client can use that and update its database. So this mechanism is very helpful in auto discovery and inter-exchangeability between different vendor devices. Then uses data identification. Unique names are used for exchanging this data. That's it, I have detailed earlier. And high-level features like reporting, logging, setting, that is doing manual settings, updating the setting, file transfer and control, everything can be used using MMS protocol, and TCP/IP is the underlying layer for transferring this data onto the station bus primarily, and this is used by reports and other mechanism for sending the data. The details of this I'll be dealing in the subsequent seminars. The details of report, logs, file transfer, controls, everything will be dealt in separate. Then moving on to Goose, as I mentioned, this is targeted for the communication between the devices in the bay, and this requires the interlocks are managed using this. So this requires a fast data transfer within few milliseconds. So 3 to 4 is what the standard says, but depending on, it is completely dependent upon the application. So normally it need to be within 10 millisecond range is the requirement as far as the application is concerned, and it can have a publisher subscriber mechanism. So the device publishes to whoever has subscribed to the Goose, the device publishes, and all the subscriber in the network will get the Goose from the publisher. That is a mechanism followed, and this is directly mapped onto the Ethernet. So it is very fast, but it is less reliable, and Goose mechanisms are used to improve the reliability, like a retransmission of Goose at varying time interval is adopted to bring that reliability, which I will be dealing when we are talking more on the Goose part. Then in order to have a better networking perspective, that is, this is like a multicast scenario, broadcast or multicast scenario. So we can use a virtual LAN addressing. Virtual LAN tag can be adopted to a Goose, and the switches can be configured, switch port can be configured with the corresponding virtual LAN ID to segregate the LAN. That is, you can create multiple virtual LANs within the same physical LAN, so that the Goose messages are restricted within the IEDs which the Goose need to be received, so that those IED can be grouped to a virtual LAN, and those IED can only be made to receive the Goose. Then priority tagging is another mechanism to improve reliability, deliver the goods on a faster basis. So higher priority tagging can be used for goods messages, that is put on the Ethernet telegrams to make it send the data faster. Then this only uses 3 layer of protocol: application layer, which is GOOS, data link, and physical, which is nothing but Ethernet. So it only uses 3 layer for exchanging the data. This make it very fast for exchanging data. Then moving on to sample value. So as you remember from the previous slide, this is used to exchange the data between process level equipment to the bay level equipment. So raw data is what it is exchanged. It is similar to GOOS, but targeted on the analog data exchange, frequent analog data exchange, and it is targeted within 200 microseconds. We transfer the analog data, and it is depending upon the application to application. So based upon the application, we can specify at what interval the continuous analog sample need to be sent to the process to bay level equipment for processing this data and making its own component like protection and other things can be done onto that. And this is specifically targeted for the samples or raw data, and the processing everything will be done by the bay level equipments onto this data. This also I will be dealing in detail in the coming sessions on different control blocks. So sample value control block is one of the scenarios which we. Then moving on to substation configuration language. So this is nothing but XML based file standard defined in 61850 to represent the complete data model, exchange model, everything, and it can have a device capability, that is every device need to publish its device capability for a specific version. This is my maximum, that is superset of capabilities this device has, and user or a substation configuration person can decide upon what is the subset to be used. And this representation of different file format, the exchange between tools, is known as a substation configuration language is the mechanism. So this is the substation configuration language, scope, file types, and interaction. So as I mentioned, any vendor who is conforming to 61850 need to publish its data model, its capabilities of different control block, everything need to be published in a file, and that file is known as ICD file, which is IED capability description file. So that is available in the global database. So this need to be publicly available. Then when you have a top-down approach, first thing is you define the system with the system specification description, that is all the SLDs are needed, the SLD of the complete system you are going to make, that is represented in a file known as system specification description, nothing but SST file. So you have a specification of a substation, you have different IEDs to be used under that, and each IED will be having, IED model will be having an ICD and SST, that substation element. You need to link the substation element for its function from an ICD, and this is done using a system configuration tool. So SST and multiple ICDs to be used in the substation are taken and combined together to form a substation configuration description, nothing but SCD file. So this is the SCD file for the project containing the substation. So SCD file for the substation is made by the system configuration tool, and this file is sent to the corresponding IED configurator. For example, GE, if there are 10 GE IEDs are there can be Cell IED, Siemens IED, and all other IEDs can be there. So these tools we will be the system configuration tool will be providing an SCD file for configuring the SCD file to the IED configuration tool, and this corresponding IED specific to the vendor can use the specific part of the SCD, and the latest updated configuration need to be downloaded to the specific vendor IED using its tool, and its format is known as configured IED description. That is the configuration to be taken from the SCD, and IED configurator takes the part of the SCD specific to their IEDs and then transfer that file to the IEDs. That file is known as configured IED description. So that workflow, I think the workflow is clear. The system specification, that is SLD, and multiple ICD file representing the IEDs combined together to form the substation configuration description, and handed over to the IED tool, and IED will do the specific configuration of the IEDs and send to the IEDs in CAD format. So another two key things introduced in the latest standard is IID. Like a system configurator need not every time use the superset, but instantiated IED description, nothing but a subset that is used for a specific project, can be directly used by system configurator, and that can be used to make the SCD file. So need not work on the global capability description, but specifically on the project, whatever is used, we can have a reuse, and that can be used by the system configurator even to generate an SCD file. Then since there is a exchange mechanism, standard are also came up, like substation to substation communication, substation to control center communication. The system exchange description, that is SCD file, has come into the principle. So this define what are the parameters that to be exchanged with other systems in principle. So these are basic description of scope, different file types, interaction in 61857. So in order to make everything in line, ASC has got a 61850 suite that can do complete engineer of the 61850 substation, then do the simulation of whatever is engineered and test it in the lab, and even test the IEDs with the client 61852. And this is applicable to substation, all the extensions of 61850, including substation, DER, nothing but distributed energy resources, solar and other distributed energy generation and other resources, wind power plant standards and hydro power plant, all are available in this set of tools, and all the configure files can be managed, including ICD, SST, SCD, IID, SCD, based upon where you stand, at what level you stand. All this configuration, including engineer, simulation of the engineer functions, and we have this tool have multiple virtual IPs can even generated. So in the lab, you can have a complete IED setup generated in the lab, and if you have a real IED, this client test tool can be used to test that out. So these are the functionality provided by ASC 61850 suite. You will be able to do complete configuration, simulation, and test with this tool. So this is a communication network in the traditional substation with all the CT, PT, and switchgear wirings are connected to the bay level equipments, and further there are serial based or Ethernet based mechanism in the traditional network. So this is the process bus is completely now replaced with the Ethernet based fiber optic Ethernet mechanism to exchange this data on a faster basis. So all this wiring and other tedious procedures can be completely about. So that's all on this session. We will continue with other 61850 sessions. Next session, we will be giving you standard overview followed by other session. Please do contact us in any of these contact IDs. It will be pleasure to answer you. Thank you again for attending the session. Bye.